So yeah, dollar had a really big drop last week, really strong move to the downside, taking out some key lows on the 4H, this low here and this low here. So overall, this is still a very important low here for the dollar, which gave us the last swing to the upside. So that's kind of still keeping the market bullish in terms of the large trend. If I go to the daily chart, we can see that we have had a pretty nice trend for the past couple of months. However, it does look like things are starting to stop. Things are starting to stall. We're putting in highs here as price failed to create a higher high. We're taking out lows as well. This might just be a bigger and more complex correction for price to continue. However, we haven't got that yet. And at the moment on the 4H time frame, things are looking pretty bearish. So in terms of the next few days, as I said, I'm looking for more downside. Again, being careful because we are still respecting structure and price may go bullish. After another extended move to the downside, then we might start, continuing to the upside. So being careful of that possibility. But in terms of opportunities, at least for this week, should price see some upside, I would expect another low high to form and price to come back and retest lows and see some new lows. Whether we get back to this low specifically or not, that's a little bit more up in the air. But I would expect to see more downside, especially if we can find a pullback anywhere around this area here, really around 107.6, 107.5. If you can get a pullback anywhere in that area, that looks like a logical area for price to put another lower high in, as we've been doing that very well recently, and see a continuation. So yeah, pretty bearish on the dollar, at least for this week anyway. Like I said, longer term, price may still push up, but I'm seeing evidence of failure to continue bullish. If the trend really was going to continue, I would expect it to have happened after this bullish move as price takes out that high and continues. But we didn't. We rejected very heavily, came crashing back down. We had that correction last week and some more follow through as well. So yeah, to me, dollar's looking pretty bearish from a 4H point of view and lower, and looking for something like this this week for continuation back to the lows. Then we'll see what happens after. We might find support again. We might actually go and break structure. And then if that happens, I'll be expecting a lot more downside for dollar to come. But we'll speak more about that when that actually does happen. So yeah, for now, pretty bearish on dollar. Looking for another pullback to roughly the 107.5 area. But anywhere between 107.5 to 108.5 is kind of where I'm looking to anticipate some downside from. And yeah, a push back to lows. So of course, if we look at EURUSD, it's pretty much the exact opposite in terms of the bias. I'm looking for Euro to take up the highs here this week, which we are not too far away from doing. A really nice bullish structure. Price is starting to print the low there, the high, the low, and the higher high. So as I said in the weekly analysis, pretty much looking for another pullback for price to go and take up the highs there. Potentially, we could be looking to come back into the high here at 1.062, pretty much exactly the same scenario as the dollar. We've got some counter trend bullish structure, which is starting to form. Prices failed to make lower lows. We had the original low here. Price failed to make a lower low. Now it's putting in some higher lows, 1, 2, 3. So it looks like price is slowly rounding off as well, which is more of a reversal pattern. If we've gone from making lower lows to equal lows to higher lows, it's price that's slowly transitioning bullish and could perhaps mean a lot more upside in a big reversal. So the upside possibility is pretty high there for Euro. At least looking for us to take up the highs here this week, but potentially could be pushing back into resistance as well. And in terms of opportunities, would want to see another pullback, perhaps maybe come back, test the trend line there as well. I did talk about the retest of the high here. Not too sure if that will line up perfectly with the trend line, but a retest of the high would be a nice place for a long. And like I said, expecting price to push past this point at probably some point during the week and probably heading up to highs over there. So pretty bullish in Euro as well. Pound USD likewise, we've seen some upside too. We've seen some higher highs and higher lows. So again, in terms of the bigger bearish move, it doesn't look like price is quite giving us that idea right now. I know that the higher time frame trend is still pretty bearish. If we go to the daily chart, overall, we can see the market's been falling pretty well since September, and this potentially could still easily be another pullback of the previous bearish leg, and possibly might see a continuation. So that is still a possibility. However, it looks less likely to happen candle by candle, day by day. And this is still a very important low, which price is respecting. This is a low, which gave us a very strong push to the upside, which actually gave us the higher high. So technically speaking, this is a very important low because it signifies market structure. If we were to break through this, it would be a break of that structure there, which again will insinuate a lot more downside for pound. But at the moment, price is respecting that low as well, which may be indication of more upside. But at least in the 4-hour chart, again, we're seeing bullish structure. So again, for this week for pound, I would suggest another pullback like we had last week and more upside. Again, being careful because this is still counter trend. Price is still giving us these bearish legs here. This is still a major high up there. So being careful. If we can get a buy somewhere along the lines with this trend line here, that would be great. But I wouldn't be so optimistic in terms of targets. I'd probably look to just to take profits at the high again, because we don't necessarily have a confident bullish daily trend on our hands yet. I know we do have that larger structure there, but I don't think any of us is going to be looking to swing it all the way back to the high there. At least not in one move anyway. So yeah, pound USD, to me, expecting more upside, looking for another pullback, another high low. Anywhere kind of around 1.245 would be a nice place for buys, and looking to take it back into that resistance there, 1.262. And we'll go from there. In terms of dollar CAD, we had the breakout last week. Really nice move to the downside, finally breaking out that consolidation. And again, this to me is a strong sign that dollar CAD is most likely going to see a lot more downside. So pretty bearish on dollar CAD as well. As you can see through most of the USD pairs, I'm looking for that dollar weakness. USD CAD, in terms of the price action, looks really good. Again, we had that range, massive fake out to the upside. And we tapped into that massive weekly level as well. So if I scoot to the weekly time frame, drawing that level there, massive test once, twice, now a third time, we could see a lot more downside. Perhaps the retest of this level here, prior resistance, will be turned support in the weekly time frame. That could be a nice little level that price works its way towards. So dropping back down to the 4-hour chart, the plan for this week would be some corrections and some shorts back into that area. Nice consolidation, which price is left behind. It would be nice to see price come back, retest that area, and then continue to the downside with targets more or less 1.4. But again, wherever you see fit, if price pulls back from here, that would be a logical target to have. Then you can always leave some small positions to run in case we do drop a lot further. But yeah, to me, this looks like a bit of a top to the trend, really. So I do think we can see some meaningful moves to the downside here for dollar CAD. Just about timing the pullbacks well. Nice range here. It would be nice to see price come back and retest that and then see some follow through. In terms of Aussie dollar, I'm liking the upside for this one as well. Really nice break to the upside. Pretty much identical to what dollar CAD's doing, to be honest. Nice consolidation, maybe a bit of a fake to the downside there, similar to what dollar CAD gave us. Now price is, of course, breaking to the upside. We've taken out some structure here to the left as well. So again, for Aussie dollar, looking for some corrections and then some more upside. In terms of targets for this one, it's a little bit harder because, I mean, we could go very far for Aussie dollar. Again, a lot of dollar pairs, that's a major lows, major levels of support and resistance. So if you well and truly reject these areas and DXY reverses, we could see some really big moves for the dollar pairs, because you can see where we were last time, massive move to the upside. You know, who's to say we can't do another big swing? I mean, Aussie dollar, in fairness, has been kind of ranging, to be honest, for the past couple of years. Who's to say we're not going to make another push back to the high end of the range? So there is a possibility for big moves to come here for the USD pairs. Should we see that reversal for the DXY? And we're positioned very well in a lot of USD pairs. Dollar CHF at major resistance, dollar CAD, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, pound USD coming off a big low. So there is possibility for a lot of upside. But again, we'll take it week by week, see how price develops. For now, at least for this week anyway, looking at correction and some upside. So that's the plan there for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same situation as well. We just about took up the highs there on Friday, just before the week close. And again, looking for more upside. I like this consolidation here. Brief consolidation. This is where all the momentum came from. So it would be nice to see price come back and tap into that area. Hopefully added with some trendline confluence as well. And again, looking for more upside. If I go to the weekly chart, you can see where we're positioned at a massive swing low here. really big support. Price is there again, so it's equally to Aussie dollar. Well, that's an area where if price well and truly does reject this, and we do see dollar reverse, there's that possibility for a lot of upside for New Zealand dollar as well. So very interesting time for the USD pairs. Are we going to reverse? Is this just a pause for price to go and break through these big levels? We don't know. Of course, as traders, all we can do is just trade. And right now, at least for this week anyway, I do fancy more upside. And of course, things can change. And maybe a couple of weeks' time, I'm talking about some more sells again. So it's not concrete, but for now at least, definitely looking for more upside this week for New Zealand dollar. In terms of gold and silver, so gold and silver is a bit interesting. We had that really aggressive sell just before the weekly candle closed. So on stream, I believe we were trading, we're trading around here. That was Friday on stream. So basically back at the highs. And I was just expecting price just to go and take out the highs there and just continue and see new highs probably before the end of the week. Little did I know that price was going to have that massive sell. Same for silver. We'll take a look in a second. But really aggressive sell. And this has made things a bit more awkward because essentially price has just respected that resistance level and has done it very aggressively as well. Now, price still is technically bullish. We haven't taken out any key lows. We've come back into support, but this is such a heavy sell. And the fact is the market is very overextended. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence to buy in gold. Now, I know gold can just fly and do its thing. But if a market is overextended in one direction, if I'm going to take trades in that direction as well, I want the opportunities to look very, very good because we don't move in one direction forever. We have our pullbacks. Just look at what gold did at the start of the year. Really big move to the upside. It still had its pullbacks as well. So that will eventually happen with gold. Even this one was a really big one there too. But yeah, really aggressive move to the upside. So I did say this week, if we do break through some support, I do think there could be some nice counter trend sells. That could potentially be the start of the bigger correction for gold, perhaps to come back and retest that high there around 27.88. Then possibly from there, we might talk about some buys again and take it back to highs. But for gold, I'm not really interested in the longs right now. It's a really aggressive sell. Price may just respect support and continue higher, but I'm not really interested. I'd rather see if we can find some downside and then talk about some bigger buys later on. And silver, I'm still pretty bullish on as well. Again, really aggressive move to the downside. Hasn't broken through any structure yet. These are still our higher lows, which is we're just keeping the trend bullish. And again, in terms of structure, price needs to break through one of these lows to change direction. But again, with the way price moves, very impulsive move to the upside, followed by a very impulsive move back down. Not really a characteristic you want to see in a healthy trending market. So again, the fact with price respecting major resistance on the left here, it's just a very awkward time there for silver. So the overall direction for me is still bullish. I'm personally still looking for a push back to the high there. That's still very much the plan. However, in terms of the setup, it's not looking 100%. So I'm kind of just waiting for more candlesticks to print for silver, a bit more information, and then hopefully I might find a trade late in the week, possibly if you look a bit more corrective, and there might be another higher low to trade, something like this, and then we're on our way. So that could be the reality, but at the moment it's too early to say. And as we come back into resistance here on our left, I wonder is price just going to respect that and potentially sell off and continue the momentum from the end of last week. So silver, I like the buys. Gold, not so much. Silver, I like the buys. Still respecting structure, so I am still very bullish. However, we dropped very hard, and that's made things pretty awkward, especially leaving behind a big wick there on the daily chart as well. Not really a confident piece of information there for buys. Not that we can't go fill the wick, but especially when the trend's a bit corrective, we're trading at major resistance to the left, we're seeing big wicks. It just doesn't give me a good opportunity to buy silver just yet. So waiting for a bit more information. Hopefully it might develop into a nice buy later this week, or we'll wait and see. But I am still looking for buys there on silver.